Mr. Martin bought the pack of Camels on Monday night in the most crowded cigar store on Broadway. It was theater time, and 7 or 8 men were buying cigarettes. The clerk didn't even glance at Mr. Martin, who put the pack in his overcoat pocket and went out. If any of the staff at F&S had seen him buy the cigarettes, they would have been astonished, for it was generally known that Mr. Martin did not smoke and never had. No one saw him. It was just a week to the day since Mr. Martin had decided to rub out Mrs. Eugene Burroughs. The term rub out pleased him, because it suggested nothing more than a correction of an error, in this case an error of Mr. Fittweiler. Mr. Martin had spent each night of the past week working out his plan and examining it. As he drove home now he went over it again. For the 100th time he resented the element of imprecision, the margin of guesswork that entered into the business.
Close the door.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce you to my new personal assistant, Miss Burroughs.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks. My desk is pretty messy, you'll have to excuse me.
Are you lifting the ox cart out of the ditch? Are you tearing up the pea patch? Are you hollering down the rain barrel? Are you scraping around the bottom of the pickle barrel? Are you sitting in the catbird seat? She must be a Dodgers fan. Red Barber announces the Dodgers games, so she must have watched him pick them up down south. So if you're sitting in the catbird seat, it's like a batter sitting pretty with 3 balls and no strikes against him. Tearing up the pea patch is like going on a rampage.
Judgment of the jury, I demand the death penalty for this horrible person.
Well, for God's sake, look who's here! Hey, quit shoving! It's after you, you're as jumpy as a goat.
Yes.
Have a seat, I'll grab you a drink. Is a scotch and soda alright? But say you don't drink, do you?
Scotch and soda will be fine, thanks. Thank you.
Well, this is perfectly marvellous. You with a drink and a cigarette.
I drink and smoke all the time. Here's to that old windbag, Mr. Fitzweiler.
Really, Mr. Martin? You are insulting our employer.
I'm preparing a bomb that will blow that old goat higher than hell.
You on dope or something?
Heroin. I'll be cooked to the gills when I blow that old buzzard off.
Mr. Martin! You will leave now. That's enough of that.
Not a word. I'm in
Really?
the catbird seat.
I'm reporting you to Mr. Fitweiler now. If he turns you over to the police, it's no more than you deserve.
I beg your pardon.
Come in.
Mr. Fitweiler, you'll never believe what Mr. Martin has said to me. I hope that you see to it, Mr. Fitweiler.
Come in.
Martin, you've been with us for 20 years.
22, sir.
And during that time, your work and manner have been exemplary.
I trust so, sir.
I understand that you've never had a drink or smoked.
That's correct, sir.
Yes. You may describe what happened last night.
Certainly, sir. Well, sir, I walked home. I went out to get some dinner. I walked back home, read a magazine, and I was in bed before 11.
Yes. Miss Burroughs has worked hard. Very hard. It hurts me to tell you that she has suffered a severe mental breakdown.
Well, that's unfortunate, sir.
Miss Burroughs is under the delusion that you visited her last night and acted in an unseemly manner.
Well, that's just plainly not true, sir.
Take a seat.
Certainly.
Thank you. Here's the nature of these psychological diseases. I'm afraid that Miss Burroughs' usefulness here is at an end.
That's true. I'm dreadfully sorry, sir.
Is the little rat denying it?
Miss
He
Burroughs!
can't get away with that. You smoked and drank in my apartment and you know it. You called Mr. Fitweiler an old windbag and said you were going to blow him up when you got coked to the gills on your heroin.
Miss Burroughs, that's enough!
If you weren't such a drab, ordinary little man, I would think you planned it all. Saying you're sitting in the catbird seat? My God, it's perfect because you knew nobody would believe me if I told it.
Miss Burroughs, out now! Let's go.